On, hit that if you're on here on YouTube as well. Do the noise again, Espo, do it again.
Wee-oo, breaking news.
Our desert financial transaction of the day comes courtesy of Adrian Wojnarowski, tweeting out that the Phoenix Suns are trading forward David Roddy to the Atlanta Hawks for forward EJ Liddell. Sources tell ESPN. Okay. So let's dive into this because there's a couple of things here. He could maybe stay with the Suns. He also could very likely not stay with the Suns. And this could be a financial move to open up another roster spot. Should we start just sharing a little bit about who EJ Liddell is before we go into the whole idea of him not even maybe making it to Phoenix?
Sure. I mean, sure. Flex, if you want to tell the people, I mean, you can do that, and then I can tell them why don't memorize the stats. I think that might be a good way to go about it.
I just feel bad.
No, this was very transactional. This was, I think this was more about like Roddy putting him in a spot where he can potentially do something and not cutting him. You'll get into all the other details. But if you want to talk about EJ Liddell, he's a good player. I mean, good young player. Out of high school, was one of the high-ranked players coming out of high school, went to Ohio State. Showed some promise, was drafted in 2022, second round, 41 overall to the Pelicans. Unfortunately, right at the beginning of Summer League, he tore his ACL. So that kind of put him on the shelf for a little bit. They worked his way back. He played this year with Atlanta in the Summer League and had some pretty good performances. He's 6'7", he's 240, he can handle the ball, he plays in the post. In high school, he was a very defensive-minded guy, athlete that can actually score. Guy shoots about 37% from three, 75% from the free throw line. Last year at Ohio State, 20-8 basically. So good player. EJ's a good player, but again, he's a guy that's developing. He's a project, and yeah, I don't know if this is a guy that sticks around. I think this was a typical summer end of the roster transaction to just do what you do down the road.
I think this was circumventing the second apron magic here because he makes less than Roddy, I believe, was by about $700,000.
Yeah, so Bobby Marks tweeted out that contracts for EJ Liddell and David Roddy to Phoenix, Liddell $2.1 million and $2.3 million with a team option, and then to Atlanta for Roddy is $2.8 million and $4.8 million team option. So Atlanta has until October 31st to exercise the Roddy option.
So for me, what I think is going to go on here, I think the math is about $5 million that they'd save in luxury tax if they cut him, and then they can go try and find a potential veteran minimum. To your point, I think it saves face for Roddy. If that was their plan and they were planning on releasing him anyways, this is a way to say to a guy that's been in the league and was good to you and played in your summer league, we'll put you in a situation where you might actually even get minutes in Atlanta if they choose to keep you. And there's no hard feelings if you let a guy that's played 8 NBA games go that hasn't been in your organization. So you save the money, you then get assigned somebody to a vet minimum, and you've saved $5 million in the process that then you can put towards what you're going to pay in luxury tax for the vet minimum.
Ball from Peter to pay Paul. This is transactional.
Yeah.
And again, the Suns are still looking at potential free agents and people, potential workouts and having those conversations. So, yeah, this is very transactional. And to your point, it may be just saving the $5 million is exactly how you get the other guy in on the vet min. So yeah, cross cancels. But either way, I don't want to shit on any one of those guys. I wish Roddy the best.
Yes.
Roddy had a really good summer
Big
league.
body Roddy.
Yeah, he deserves a shot to go to Atlanta and potentially see what could happen. And then EJ's a project, and I wish him the best too.
And
that's not a knock on EJ either.
No. I was going to say, and he very well could, right? If the Suns do decide to cut him, if there are no other options for him in the NBA, he can always try and hang with the Suns as a part of the G League squad if he feels like the Suns are a good place for him and they value him in that way. You also have the two-way spot that's still technically open for the Suns, their final two-way spot. You cannot convert him from a regular contract to a two-way. You'd have to cut and then re-sign to the two-way. But, it's not to say that he's completely going to be absent from 23. The Phoenix Suns organization, but also technically he might.
The most intriguing thing is you look at some of the names that are left out there that we assumed would have signed bigger contracts this offseason that haven't. Tyus Jones. There's all sorts of names out there that you went, oh, well, I didn't know that they'd still be out there. So maybe some guy takes I want to bet on myself 1-year deal and puts them in a situation in Phoenix to set themselves up for a future payday next year. So there's some, it gives you more wiggle room.
Markelle Fultz is still out there.
I think there's some opportunity.
But one last time, shout out to our guy, Big Body Roddy. Thank you for being a part of the Suns organization. We wish you the best. That has been our Desert Financial transaction of the day. Don't forget, when you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. All right, gentlemen, today I want to talk about the changes that the NBA have been making. Obviously, we know there was a new CBA. We'll dive into some of the media things here in just a little bit. But now that those two things are mostly finalized, right? Or at least in the final stages of being finalized, that means that I think an expansion will be coming next. Every time Adam Silver gets asked about this over the last couple of years, it's always been like, we're going to work on the CBA first. We're going to work on TV rights and that kind of deal first. And then we'll revisit expansion draft after all that's said and done. Well, time to start revisiting. Yep. And it could come sooner than we think. So let's dive a little bit into an expansion within the NBA. I think, obviously, we're all on the same page that Seattle and Vegas make the most sense, right? Yeah. For the first two teams.
Yeah, based on all the talk, and we know Seattle's been at the top of the list since they left, and that Vegas is just proven that to be a pro city, and the league's already doing the NBA Cup there. I think it's pretty obvious they want to be in business with Vegas beyond the Cup and Summer League. So I think it's pretty safe to say those two.
Are those the teams you would want? Are there any other teams? Because while I do think those are the front runners, when the league officially announces that they are willing to accept bids for an expansion team, you're going to have a lot of additional markets come through putting in bids or at least having conversations. Like we've heard Montreal, Vancouver, I think. Mexico City's been out there a few times, a few others.
Yeah. No, I think by far these are the two top for me. Seattle needs a basketball team. I mean, that was a team that I felt should have never left. So I would love Seattle. Everybody wants Seattle. And then Vegas. I mean, we're seeing how Vegas is blowing up on every level in the sports world. So there was a time where it was like stay away from Vegas, and now it's like everybody go to Vegas. That's what we want to do. So yeah, Vegas and Seattle is absolutely, I think, a home run for the NBA, and probably what's going to happen.
I'd be intrigued by Vancouver. You kind of, if you brought Seattle and Vancouver in, you'd have natural rivalry that would automatically be baked in. I know you have the Seattle-Portland too, but you'd have this whole Northwest, grouping of teams.
But Are they still the Grizzlies?
No.
I'm saying
they would stay. I mean, you could feasibly buy that name back from them and let Memphis rebrand.
Memphis is not doing that.
I actually,
no, they're not doing that.
I mean, maybe if they want to go something more that city and they want to rebrand.
Memphis
I
could.
feel like Memphis, though, has truly embraced like Grizzlies and then their G League with the hustle and just kind of like that grind city, grit vibe. I I feel like they wouldn't want to give that up.
Yeah, I mean, probably not, but that would be a possibility. But I think it's going to wind up being Vegas. I mean, it makes too much sense. But I think 4 is inevitably going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it would not shock me if they announced 4 and Vegas and Seattle started playing almost immediately, within a couple of years. And then the other 2 were 4 or 5 years out while they got arena situation settled and all those kind of things. So you see the path, because I think we're winding up at 34 teams because it gives more inventory for this new TV contract. It gives you new fan bases. I think all that's going to happen.
Right. So that's why it's not surprising. It won't be surprising if a lot of additional cities and locations kind of come out of the woodworks when they do start putting out these bids. It also helps drive up the price, which the NBA will love that, right? I think it's roughly right now is what they're estimating $3 to $4 billion per franchise. So, if you have a bunch of other places coming out, maybe they move that up to $4 to $5 billion. It's not a bad option. And it opens the door for, like you said, if 2 now, 2 later, they already have those open lines of communications. They know what people are willing to spend, how much they're willing to put in it.
Do you feel like, I like 2. I'm a little torn on 4. I just think at that point you kind of oversaturate things a little bit.
I would say I would prefer.
Do you want 4 more teams in the NBA?
Well, what are your?
I think if you're gonna do 4, do it all at the same time. I don't think I would want to space it out where it was like 2 in, say, 2026, 27, and then 2 more come 28, 29. I wouldn't want that. I would just want them to all 4 be there at the same time, preferably. I understand the arena side of things throws kind of a wrench into that.
And the draft
it's
all that
also
stuff.
a roster kind of thing too, because if you put 4 in right away,
That's a lot.
I think you water it down too fast,
That's
right?
fair.
Because you want these teams to compete relatively quickly. You don't want doormats forever. So if you do 2, and then they kind of get to build their rosters, and then you go 2 more a few years later, you give a chance to hopefully have a larger talent pool and go through the process where you don't water things down immensely going 4 right out the gates. That would be my biggest concern.
You don't think that it's too much change too close together?
That's what I'm saying.
Constantly moving, because
what does history say?
Well, I don't know.
As
As far as like
usually
what?
2.
No, it says usually 2, and then it takes a very long time before. So like 4 in a 5-6 year span, I think that's overkill.
was the
Because then
last
you'd
time
have to
they
adjust
expanded
divisions, and then you'd have to readjust divisions again.
Unless you just set it up where you know where those adjustments are going to come, and you just kind of plan for it.
Yeah.
The thing is, the league, when it's expanded before, hasn't been this big of a business, right?
Yeah.
It was usually just because the league needed to grow more to actually, hopefully earn that money eventually. Now this is big business. They're sitting on piles of money, huge television contracts, and these owners want more money, right? They stand to make $500 million each, roughly for each of these expansion teams. So you're telling me if the option is I make $1 billion or make $2 billion, that they're going to go, nah, I think it'd be bad to add those 2 other teams. No, they're going to take $2 billion, and the league's going to take the rest of that money and laugh to the bank, because now they got more games for television. They got more, all that. Again, it's that dirty little secret. This basketball's a business, right? Yeah. And it comes down to dollars and cents, just like the TV stuff that we're going to talk about later. You threw away a 40-year relationship with a network because somebody else was willing to pay you more.
Yeah, I think 2 will happen. My personal opinion, I think they'll do 2, and it'll be a decade or more before they touch another 2. But I could be wrong. If what you're saying is how it rolls out, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, you say 5-6 years, are you thinking?
Yeah.
After the first one? Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, so let's dive into this a little bit and how it could potentially affect the Suns as far as just like some of the rules that we've seen in the past. Now, granted, it's not a guarantee that these all stay the same as the last time we had an expansion in the league, but it's just kind of a guideline that'll give us a starting point, right? So last time around, each of the 30 teams were able to protect a certain amount of players. I couldn't figure out exactly how many players they were allowed to protect, but we do know that the NBA required them to put, I believe, a minimum of 8 players up for being selected in the expansion draft. Last time they also, some of these lists got leaked, but not a full list. So we probably will see that happen again where you won't know every single player. There will be some that it's like a no-brainer. And then the ones obviously that are selected, you'll know were not protected. But I don't think we'll ever be able to see the entire list of who is not protected on a team.
I think you'll find out every big name, though, because the Wojs, all these people breaking news
That's
now.
the different part about what we've got now. So each NBA team, new NBA team, can only select one player from each team, right?
Yeah.
So each NBA team that is currently in the league that is not an expansion can only lose one player from their unprotected list. So even if you have 8 players unprotected, your only potential is to lose one of them, which is kind of nice. If a team is over the cap and has a player selected, then they'll receive a traded player exception, the TPE, for the exact value of that team's salary. Now, that was obviously prior to the new CBA. I'm sure there will still work something in there that is very similar to that. And that list is typically provided to the expansion teams about a week or two before the expansion draft, which happens just shortly before the actual draft. Now, the other part of this is that there is a timeline here that has been kind of historically we've seen where the NBA will announce that an expansion is coming, and then it waits typically a minimum of 1 year before the expansion teams begin playing. So there is a world in which this could potentially play into the Suns' favor if they get the ball rolling fast enough, right? There is a scenario in which Adam Silver comes out this season or at the end of this season and announces, we're doing an expansion draft, gets all the bids in by the start of next season, announces where those teams are going to be located, and then by the end of that season is when they do the expansion draft, and then they start playing 2026-27, which is also the year you'll remember that we said would be kind of like the Suns' big reset potentially, where most of the guys will be off the roster. You'll have Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, David Roddy. I'm sorry, not David Roddy. Royce O'Neal. My bad.
He's coming back, baby.
David Roddy on the break.
Come on home.
Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, the 2 youngins, and then a Bradley Beal player option.
Yes. So, and why I think that's the timeline that we're looking at. Where will the eyes of NBA basketball be in December? Early December? Las Vegas with the NBA Cup.
The Cup,
Great time to have a press conference where you announce that Las Vegas is getting an expansion franchise and Seattle's coming along with them, right? So I it would not shock me if we hear this, because they've been working behind the scenes. They've talked to people. They know where they want to go. They know who is interested in owning a team. So I think we hear it there. That puts us in line with the 26-27 season, and we're off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a secret. I don't think that. I mean, people don't get the announcements and they don't come out. But in the NBA world and the community behind the scenes, they know when it's coming. They know exactly when it's coming. They're already projecting out to their books. They already are making moves currently, knowing that's coming. So, yeah, I mean, you laid it out pretty clear. I wouldn't be shocked if that's exactly how it plays out. And then we're in a situation where we got that major reset button in the middle of an expansion draft. And if I had to guess, it was, if I remember correctly, it was you protect your top 4 players with a 12-man roster. I'm almost going to lean towards, I think they keep it exactly the same way. Even if you have a 15-man roster, there's this idea that, okay, you added 3 more, so maybe you protect 5. But expansion teams can't get better if they're taking everybody's 6th best player. That's just not how it works. So you got to kind of make it worth it for the expansion team to say, okay, if you protect 4, then we're getting their 5th best player or situation, right? So I think they keep it at 4, and it gets very interesting when you start talking about the Phoenix Suns and some of the stuff.
Because I'm not necessarily advocating for this, but I am just saying if that timeline did come to fruition, there is a world in which the Suns could go to Bradley Beal if they feel like they're ready to blow it up and move on. Like, we're just assuming that that's the case at that point in time. And they say, hey, you can opt in on this player option and waive your no trade clause, and we'll send you somewhere where maybe they will protect you. You get to have a little bit of say potentially in where you wind up. or where I'm protecting you.
To Flex's point, they may already know that that's what the option is, and that's why nobody seems overly concerned about that final year player option, right? So
there's multiple paths to getting out if you feel like it's necessary, basically.
Poor Brad
Potentially,
Beal,
anyway.
man.
Potentially.
you pull them in the office and you go, how much did you like Washington those few years that they were bottom feeders? You didn't? Well, okay. Well, your options are you go to one of the two new bottom feeders in the league, or you can waive that no trade clause, and we'll put you in a situation where you might want to be, right?
And then this is another part of it. This element of it is Brad Beal's not an old man.
He's not.
No. Brad Beal's got a lot of basketball left. Even when we get to that option year, Brad Beal's not looking at his wife and kids and saying, I'm going to retire. I'm done. He wants another deal.
Was he 33?
Right. He'd be 33 years old, potentially looking at another significant deal in the NBA. And so if you get to the point where in the next 2 years, the Suns don't win a championship or this doesn't work, I am absolutely certain that I feel like unless they win a championship or something goes dramatically better in that, they're knocking on the door, I don't think there's any way Brad Beal plays out that last year in Phoenix. I just don't.
So, somebody in the chat asked if keeping Summer League and the NBA Cup in Vegas would happen if you had a franchise, right?
I think that would be too much.
So what I think happens is you keep Summer League there because the Summer Leagues are all where an NBA team is. But if you announce those other two potential cities, you rotate the NBA Cup in those cities
do All-Star.
until those two cities are NBA cities when the franchise comes online. If you got a venue, you can play it in to build interest in the league there and make those destination cities for NBA fans that might want to go.
And then once they are established, then maybe you move the NBA Cup around like the All-Star game.
Yep.
Just make it another little thing.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
Okay, so you did bring up the idea that, right, if you are a part of this expansion draft, you're probably going to go to one of the bottom feeding teams in the league. Do you guys think it'll remain that way? Like history has kind of told us that in the past, but obviously different leagues, different sport. But we've seen in the NHL, expansion teams have success.
I think they can. Okay, so I think they can. I think the chance that both teams are successful is probably less likely, but you could see one of these teams having good success out the gates. And I say this because when was the last time we expanded? Charlotte, the Bobcats, and that was what, 2008 or 8? Was it? So 2008.
I don't remember, but I thought it was that.
The game has become more international since then, so there's more players coming from overseas. I think the quality of player here in America has gotten better as well. So you've got a larger pipeline of talent. So I think even if you're protecting your top four, the four guys you want to keep on a roster, there's enough quality where you could potentially build a team that could compete a little bit more. Plus, since the last time there was an expansion draft, you now have play-in. So 10 teams are getting into that playoff picture in each conference rather than the 8 that were when that initial expansion is. So I could see a Seattle or a Vegas having some modicum of success where they're competing for the play-in or for
not
a
full on
last
tanking.
Pick. Yeah,
but maybe not top of the pack.
Yeah, where they have some success early on, but it won't be competing for a title. Per se.
Yeah, this one's tough for me. I don't see any. I just think the NBA is too good. I think it's a different league than, obviously the WNBA or the NHL. You see how hard it is to compete in this league. I'd be shocked if any of those teams are remotely relevant for 6-7 years. I just don't see it.
That's draft. Tough.
No, it is. It is. You're going to get potentially the 5th best player on some teams. And it's not every team. You only have 15 spots, so you're not going to. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. In order to be a good NBA team and be a playoff team and really put that work in, you got to have that foundational piece. You're not going to get that foundational piece unless you got a situation where one of these expansion teams hits on a Wemby. But even that is probably not going to happen because franchises history has shown that expansion teams never are allowed to get the first pick. They usually slot them
for
into
a certain amount of years. Yeah,
correct. So it's not like they're going to get that top guy. They're probably going to be rewarded with, okay, you guys are slotted into maybe 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 every year or something like that.
I think it showed that over the last couple of expansions, it was 4 was the highest pick that was given, and then it went all the way back to like 10.
Yeah.
So somewhere between there.
Yeah.
So then
how do you get better through the draft without getting that number one guy?
I mean,
You have
still
no incentive
4
to
is not
tank
bad.
If there's a slotted range that your pick's going to fall in, right?
Yeah, no, there's no incentive to tank.
There's no incentive to tank. So what you're going to be, there's a benefit to actually try to be a team going for the play-in.
But are they going to have the talent to do
but
that?
I think there's enough talent in this league where, depending on your strategy, you could put together a team that can compete, not a title contender. I agree with you. You're not going to be like the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL, where you're actually competing for a title, right, out of the gates. That makes no sense in the NBA. But you could be competing for that play-in and a playoff spot. And to me, it depends on what front office you put together, and do they have a creative strategy to give them a puncher's chance. Because in the new NBA, where 3 is worth more than 2, I know mathematically it always has been, but the analytics
Are we sure? I don't know.
Maybe you could put together a team of enough shooters where you're forcing your way.
Listen, I see what Espo. I'm with you, dog. I'm just saying the way that the NBA is set up and how good these teams are and how hard it is to, like, the Phoenix Suns are a really good team. We cover them. They were 6 seed last year. What are you laughing about?
Sorry, it's just Nacho. Just
the
Nacho,
chat
man.
is outrageous right now.
So, like, to your point, is there a chance that they can, like, be at that 11-10 spot and maybe, yeah, absolutely, because you're going to have a chance to get at the bottom there, but even that I think is going to be difficult.
But I think you even look at a team like the Miami Heat, right? They put together a ragtag team of players. To Espo's point, it really comes down to who are you drafting. There are going to be contracts that some teams just want to get off, and you're able to make trades as well. And if you have a couple contracts to aggregate and somebody wants to get off a star, get like whoever running OKC, Presti, get him in a seat, right? Fleece somebody in a trade. Like, we've seen it happen.
Well, and trades can still be made with the expansion team,
right?
Right. So you could swap some things out and help that build.
I challenge you, when NBA 2K25 drops,
okay,
we will create a way to do an expansion draft and sim our seasons and see if we can get somebody into a play-in. And I guarantee you I could do it.
Okay, so the last portion of this
on the video game,
the last portion of this is who moves to the east, right? If it's Vegas and if it's Seattle, who moves east? And our friend Zona Hoops on Twitter tweeted out this graphic, and I think it makes the most sense. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves.
And for the Suns, it makes the most sense to send Anthony Edwards as far away from you as possible. So enjoy the Eastern Conference, guys.
Which I guess you could argue the Grizzlies or the Pelicans could potentially be the ones who move over. And that's all fine and dandy. I think I would prefer the Timberwolves, one, because it kind of fits in that little clump up there that we see with like the Bucks, the Bulls, and the Pistons. But 2, Anthony Edwards is already a star in this league. He's only going to get better as time goes on, and they're going to continue to build around him. Probably going to be a pretty solid team in the near future. And that's no shade to the Grizzlies or the Pelicans, but go ahead and head on over to the East. I think you can exit the West.
Yeah, I think all 3 of them are good teams. Again, I think people are going to be surprised if Ja keeps his head in the right place and they come back healthy. They have a really good team. Minnesota's got Anthony Edwards, and they're good. And the Pelicans just got, Jadante Murray, Zion Williamson. They still got Ingram, CJ McCollum. So, yeah, all 3 of those teams, I would welcome any one of them damn teams going the other way. But, yeah, it just makes sense. I happen to be a Minnesota Vikings football fan, and they're in the same division with the Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears. And so I think it would make sense in the NBA to have Minnesota and the Pistons and the Bulls and those teams in the same division. So never kind of made sense the way it is right now. I think that's the natural, logical thing to do.
You know those charts where you answer the question and it slowly progresses you to where it is? This is simple. The first question is, does it snow where you are? Yes.
That's fact.
And then is it below 0 predominantly between the months of November and February.
That's facts.
If the answer is yes, you're in the Eastern Conference. You know where it is? Minnesota's the answer to both of those.
I mean,
you're in the East.
There's nothing west about that.
Absolutely. Indeed it is, Espo. Indeed it is.
Wow.
And also, if you're looking to hire for a new job, our friends at Indeed have your back. They are driven by the search for better. And when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. You don't have to search, you match with Indeed. And if you need to hire, you definitely need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. So, like Espo's told you before, he can ditch the busy work, get down to the real work, because he's utilizing Indeed to help him find quality candidates, using Indeed for scheduling, screening, messaging, and so much more to connect with the best candidates so much faster. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. So just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That is what, Espo?
Indeed.com/AllCity.
Yeah, that's
that,
right.
That was called a dramatic pause.
Oh, gotcha.
Lindsay.
I thought you just forgotten.
No,
already.
I know what it is. I said it 3 times a day, almost every day.
Terms and conditions apply, but need to hire, you definitely need our friends over at Indeed.
Can I take a step back to yesterday's program?
Yeah.
$500 million.
Yeah.
You better take it.
That I wouldn't take because I know that the Suns were going to win a title the following year.
Mm-hmm.
You guys missed the obvious portion of this, right?
Okay.
I now have this knowledge that no other human being has, that the Phoenix Suns will win the title the following year. There are ways to make cash knowing what's going to happen in the future. I could get the best of both worlds.
I mean,
You know what? And that's not an ordinary idea. You know, that's an extraordinary
it
idea.
is.
And you know what's never ordinary? Our friends over at Bet365. I'm sure they wouldn't appreciate me knowing the future,
Damn, they fine.
but you know, I would at
Facts.
least use them if I were to know the future there. And then my favorite thing with Bet365, they have an unbelievable thing that you see nowhere else, right? If you wind up betting on a team to win in the NBA and they go up by 20, even say it's 8 minutes into the game, you already won that.
Winner,
regular.
winner, chicken dinner.
You've won that part of your bet. If it's a parlay or if that's the only bet you made, you won. So it's that easy. And right now, if you're going to sign up to become a member of Bet365, and I highly recommend that you do, they've got 2 offers that you can use. The bet and get offer, where you place a $5 or more wager and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets, or the first bet safety net, where, you know, if you want to put a band down like Flex, you're going to get that back even if you lose like Flex. So you can get up to $1,000 back on any bet that you make that you that you lose. So you know, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code PHNX365 when you sign up. Deposit $10 and you're going to choose one of those 2. So make sure to do it today. Download the app. Use the code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older, or physically located in Arizona. If someone or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov.
You got 14
So,
now?
yeah,
Do
I
I
was
what?
going to say, so says Jay, while I do love our friends about 365, threw a little wrench into your plan here.
He sure
Said
did.
at a plus 3,500, you'd have to bet 14 million to win 500
But look,
million. You got 14 million
You got
dollars.
14
I'm
million?
not saying I need the whole 500 million.
Yeah.
I can make money where I'm comfortable, right? With a smaller wager and still get the joy. That's the whole ploy here, right?
Okay.
I get the thing I've wanted my entire life, and I get some cash in the deal.
A little extra
Then I invest that cash because I'm a smart man, and I can turn that money into something else working for me. Probably with our friends over at Desert Financial Credit Union, they have
probably.
investment options,
They
and then
do.
I get to that 500 million another point in my life.
Espo would make that money and look at the next year's Suns championship odds and be like, I should risk it all.
He totally would.
No, I'm done.
He totally
Look,
would.
I am done once the Suns win a title.
That's not true.
I'm done.
All right.
I go on to the Cardinals show at that point.
So we know that expansion changes are likely around the corner, but we are in the thick of it when it comes to the television deal and the media rights for the NBA. We got a lot of additional news this week from both sides. So the NBA put out a press release on Wednesday stating that Warner Brothers Discovery's most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime Video's offer, and therefore they have entered into a long-term arrangement with Amazon. They also announced it on social media from @NBAPR, stating the NBA today announced the renewal of its partnership with the Walt Disney Company and new agreements with NBC Universal, NBCU, and Amazon, under which ABC, ESPN, NBC Peacock, and Prime Video will telecast NBA games beginning with the 2025-26 season and running through the 2035-36 season. Now, as Espo kind of gave us a precursor to and told us this is likely coming down the pipeline, TNT responded, and we're headed to court. TNT said, given the NBA's unjustified rejection of our matching of a third-party offer, we have taken legal action to enforce our rights. We strongly believe this is not just our contractual right, but also in the best interest of fans who want to keep watching our industry-leading NBA content with the choice and flexibility we offer them through our widely distributed WBD video-first distribution platforms, including TNT and Max.
Yeah. So TNT Sports knows drama, and the biggest drama the 2024-25 season has for you is in the court and on the court as TNT Sports faces off against the NBA in a battle of supremacy 40 years in the making.
Oh my gosh. You're not wrong, though. You're not wrong.
Look, this is what I think this heads to, and I told you guys this, I thought this would happen the other day, is that the NBA and or Amazon makes a payment to Warner Brothers as a restitution for what they feel is a breach of contract. The NBA is not going to get strong-armed into not having their games on Amazon and going back to Warner Brothers Discovery, especially after Warner Brothers Discovery just sued them and drug them through the mud. That's not going to happen to one of the most powerful leagues in the world. It's not going to happen. Games will be on Amazon. Warner Brothers Discovery is going to get some money that they're bleeding like crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody gets to save a little face where their president can go, look, we didn't get the NBA, but we got $1 billion, or we got $750 million for breach of contract, and everybody's a winner, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't agree with my man Chuck, and we're probably going to get to that, right?
Yeah, well, let's read it real quick. Charles Barkley
it.
also took to social media, posting on Instagram, quote, "Clearly the NBA has wanted to break up with us from the beginning. I'm not sure TNT ever had a chance. TNT matched the money, but the league knows Amazon and these tech companies are the only ones willing to pay for the rights when they double in the future.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA didn't want to piss them off. It's a sad day when owners and commissioners choose money over the fans. It just sucks. I just want to thank everyone who has been at Turner for the last 24 years. They are the best people and the most talented, and they deserve better. I also want to thank the NBA and its fans, the best fans in sports. We're going to give you everything we have next season."
So I was gonna say I don't normally agree with a lot of the things Chuck says, but there's some things in there that are absolutely true in my mind. And listen, these tech companies, TNT can't compete with them. It's gonna cost more to get into this business later. The writing's on the wall. They're like, listen, you're already broke. TNT, you're already broke. So no, I'm saying I agree with the point that he's saying. Some of the other stuff, it is what it is. But as far as the money and the business side of it, yeah, it's clear you're already broke. They can offer more, and down the road they're gonna have to offer double. And the broke company's not gonna be able to do that, especially because the broke company's going against the tech company. So
also, while it does definitely help line the pockets of the owners and people across the league, it also helps line the pockets of the players.
Yeah.
Because it increases the cap. It allows players to make more and more money as well, because the more money that's coming in, the more percentage of it they get. And I'm always going to be for players making more money.
This is money, man. This is the money machine that is what the NBA.
It's more than that, though. It's looking at it and it's going Warner Brothers Discovery. They, like you said, is a company in financial disaster. In an industry that is slowly dying itself.
Yeah.
The oxygen is being choked off on cable television networks right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for it. There's a reason why, local sports, regional sports networks are going by the wayside, why some of these cable networks are going out of business. And the NBA wants to be in bed with the future, not the past. And that's what this has to do. And what this quote from Charles screams to me, and obviously I'm a big Chuck fan, grew up, love Barkley, but this screams to me a guy that knows he's already getting out, has said he's retiring, and is standing up for the company that has paid him, hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 20 plus years that he's been there, and is trying to defend those people that are going to lose their job on the way out, which there's something to be said for that as well, for standing up for your people.
Hell yeah, there is.
But I don't think this was some Machiavellian scheme to just stick it to Warner Brothers Discovery. It's, sorry, you guys are the past. This is the future. And we don't know you're actually going to be able to pay us this money over the life of this deal.
It's a tough situation all around because you do understand both sides. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is. I don't anticipate seeing this lawsuit changing anything, to be completely honest.
Nope.
The only thing that's going to come out of this lawsuit is Warner Brothers getting some cash from the NBA.
Or nothing. I think they're just trying
to.
I think this is their president and other people trying to save face in a situation that they completely misread. They did not think it would come to this. They never saw NBC coming, so they didn't think they were going to have another bidder like that. So they assumed that it was going to be them, ESPN, and Amazon or Apple or one of the streamers. Yeah. And NBC came in and said, "No, we know you're broke and we got money. We're gonna beat you out." And there's another whole thing. Comcast owns NBC, right? Comcast negotiates rights fees with TNT and Warner Brothers Discovery for other cable channels. They don't want to pay them. So what you do is you take their biggest asset and you say, "Hey, we don't have to pay you anymore that huge fee that we were paying you to have on our cable networks because you don't have the programming anymore." So they save money on the back end too. Welcome to business. It sucks.
We got a super chat from our guy Psycho Blue, and they said Cam, quote, only Payne's personal metal band did the opening ceremony today for the Olympics. Also, David Zaslav, is that how you pronounce it? Can't seem to accept the cheap bet he's made for himself with his miserly ways. And he's the main guy over at Warner Brothers, right?
Yes, he's the head of Warner Brothers Discovery who said, "We don't need the NBA" about a year ago, and now he gets to find out what life's like without it.
Yeah, so...
Again, I nerd out on this stuff. So.
I know. And,
that's your world, man. That's good, though.
To an extent, it does affect fans because it's how we consume the sport that we love and the teams around it. And, you have your opinions on things now, whether you like certain shows or you dislike certain shows. Those are going to change. And then we got to kind of go from there and figure out which ones we actually want to consume and which ones we don't. But
yeah, and if you have an Amazon Prime membership, you know what this means? You get more basketball.
Potentially. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One thing that we do want to consume, though, and this is always a hard yes, is Polar Pop or a Froster from Circle K on a hot summer day here in Arizona, because as Strikeout put, the only thing that's lasting forever is hot weather in Arizona. So at least you can cool off with our friends at Circle K and their delightful Polar Pops. It's not just soda, you guys. You can also get Powerade and tea and lemonades and things from our friends at Circle K as well. And they also have a free new membership program called the Inner Circle, where you can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups after signing up. You save 3 cents per gallon every single day. There are always a bunch of coupons and specials inside the Inner Circle app. And of course, right now, this one's for everybody. Through September 3rd at any Arizona location, you can get a Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. But if you're an Inner Circle member, you get that for a little bit cheaper. talking 69 cents.
Nice.
Nice.
So, join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
I don't know if you people can tell. I have some issues. And I am not afraid to be man enough to talk to somebody about those issues.
We love that.
And our friends over at BetterHelp have been a help to me along the way. I've used BetterHelp on multiple occasions for my counseling needs. I have used it because time is valuable, and I don't always have the chance to go to a physical location for my needs, and they do virtual therapy and counseling that I love. It has helped me along the way a lot, and I want it to help you as well, because there's nothing shameful about admitting that you need somebody to help you along the way, because life ain't easy, and it's not getting any easier for people. So, I think you really should look into it with our friends at BetterHelp, because there's a misconception that relationships in your life should just come easy if they're good ones. And honestly, that's complete and total BS.
Yeah, both sides have to work.
I mean, relationships don't come easy, because it's two people, working together, and you need to have a way to navigate that. And BetterHelp's here to do it, because the best ones happen to be where both people put in the work to make them great. So I highly recommend that you check them out. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/PHNX today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PHNX.
All right. So if you guys did not catch Outside Shots earlier today with Saul Bookman and Eddie Johnson, you absolutely need to check it out, because we had some special guests on. The one and only Isaiah Thomas was also on Outside Shots this morning.
Which Isaiah Thomas?
Okay, it was Pistons legend Isaiah Thomas that came on.
OG?
Not Shadow GM. He wasn't wearing his Shadow GM hat when he came on. So they talked some great old school hoops. Eddie and IT are good friends for a long time. I was shocked. I was out of the office and got a message, Isaiah Thomas is coming on the show. I was like, holy hell,
dude,
that guy?
Literally, we were about to start the show, and Eddie was like, hey, by the way, can Isaiah Thomas call in?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, we can make that happen. We can
No
make that
problem.
happen.
Yes.
And then he just said, he was just looking at his phone in the show. He's like, yeah, by the way, Isaiah Thomas is going to call in like 10 minutes. I was like, okay, we got it.
So if you haven't checked that out, go watch it after this one, or you can subscribe to our audio feed wherever you hear podcasts. It'll be available there as well. But some of the guys on that show, because K-Ray also
then
joined in,
K-Ray stopped by at the end too.
It was an exceptional Outside Shots today, so it's one not to be missed.
That's just Eddie flexing, going,
It is
look at all the
Eddie.
people I know.
But at the end of that show, Saul, EJ, and K-Ray all played a game of Hot or Not. So we're just going to copy what they did. We're going to play Hot or Not here, and then you and I and Flex, we're going to all try and guess what EJ, Saul, and K-Ray picked for these two.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys the same 5 hot or not topics that I gave those 3. But I want to give you a new one first. I just made this fresh graphic. I need chat to let me know. Is this Leave a Like graphic hot or not? Josh Bartlestein and Bradley Beal on the Leave a Like graphic.
It's only hot if you put Nacho's avatar sticking up slightly between the two.
You know what? Maybe
Nacho, we appreciate your commitment to the bit. All I will say is just make sure you're being nice to all the other chatters. And other chatters also be nice to Nacho.
Yeah, it's all fun and games, guys. I can put Nacho's face, not in this one, though. I can maybe do that for next show. All right, guys.
Can I throw one out real quick?
Sure.
Strikeout says, Espo, the body of a tortoise, but the voice of an angel. Hot or not?
Espo, you could be hot. Espo's hot.
There we go.
My
There you go.
voice, yes.
Nachos said not, surprisingly. All right. First topic on this morning's Hot or Not, shower beers or shower alcohol. So your favorite alcoholic beverage, enjoying it in the shower.
It's a beer.
So I'm a terrible one to participate in this because I can't have alcohol anymore because I'm allergic to it, but I'll go hot.
See, I
Because
think
I feel like if back in the day, I probably still would have been on board with it. So I'm going to go hot.
I'm going to go not. I'm not a drinker, but when I was a drinker, I never, ever, ever did that. So I'm going not.
okay, but I think what the concept here is, so you're saying which one's hot or just the concept
but
of
the
either?
concept
The
of
concept.
an
To
alcoholic
me,
beverage in the shower.
Only the beer is hot because it's in a can. If you're drinking in a can, and you're not going to get a lot of excess water from the shower in it, right? I got a hard alcohol drink in a cup. I'm getting way too much water in there. So
how small is your shower?
but I'm gonna go hot. What? I'm gonna step out of the hot water to go take a swig of it? No.
Do you have like
No,
a tub
but
shower? Because
yeah.
like the tub and the shower, like you only half
Just
of
have a little
the
thing.
part gets wet, and then you also maybe have like a
just
little
cold beer, right?
shelf.
Cold beer
No.
right out the
I don't
the
know.
fridge,
No.
jump in the shower.
We're all
stay
gonna roll
cold.
with hot. So you're out. Wait,
Except
you're
for-
outnumbered here,
except for Flex. Okay.
Espo and I say hot.
What do you guys think Saul said?
Saul
hot or
said
not?
hot for sure.
Okay,
No, I'm gonna
that
say Saul said not.
you said, okay. Flex, what do you think Saul said to shower beers / alcohol?
Not.
Saul said that it was hot.
Of course he said it's hot.
Saul said easily hot.
How you guys don't know
thought Saul
anybody?
didn't live that sad of a life. That
Shower beers are not a sad life.
Shower beer is totally a sad
No,
thing.
Hey,
it's like
it
a
depends on
pregame.
how you
or
have
it's
the
like
shower
a
beer.
post-
A shower beer is not a sad thing.
No.
A shower beer is the sign of depression.
That's a skill. That's a skill
I
issue.
kind of do
skill
see it
issue.
that way
I
too.
disagree.
If you gotta
skill
drink,
issue.
if you gotta be drinking beers in the shower,
No, because
No.
the shower
it's
is
something
like
going on, man.
It's a
It's a special
special, yes.
treat.
And a shower can be like you're starting your not necessarily starting your day, but you're starting your afternoon
like
or
a
your
pregame
evening.
shower.
A shower beer is a cry for help. I'm
Sir.
sorry.
Having a shower beer
You guys
every night.
are
yes,
not looking
but
at
come on.
shower beers
I
correctly.
don't drink, man, so I don't.
Neither do I.
If you're,
And I totally
if you're,
get it.
I mean,
What
if
did
you're
K-Ray?
drinking anything in the shower, what are
Okay.
you doing?
What do you
Eddie-
think K-Ray said?
Okay, K-Ray said
K-Ray said not. K-Ray is too much of a
K-Ray might have said
fitness
hot,
guy.
but I feel like K-Ray, I don't envision K-Ray ever
K-
partaking in a shower
K-Ray's like
beer.
a kale smoothie in the shower. Hot.
Totally.
Uh,
Totally.
Kale smoothie.
What do you say?
K-Ray said hot.
Okay.
And pretty emphatically.
Really?
As well,
All
if I
right.
remember it correctly. What about Eddie?
EJ said not because EJ is a wine in a bathtub guy.
Now, see, I can
100%.
get with
EJ
that.
is not about a shower beer. EJ
I could
wants a
get with
wine
that.
in a bathtub.
I could get with that. That makes sense.
Okay.
What do you
EJ
say?
said it is cold. EJ
Yeah.
said not hot.
Not
All right.
hot.
Yeah,
Topic
I'm with
number
that.
2. Going to the movies alone.
Hot.
Hot.
There's nothing wrong with going to the movies
Hot.
alone.
What do you think Saul said?
Well, he accidentally gave it away behind you.
He's standing behind me
Saul
celebrating.
definitely said hot.
Yeah, Saul said hot. Now, here's the thing about this one. For those of you who were watching Outside Shots, it went a little bit off the rails
Of
when
course
this
it
happened.
did.
I did not get an answer from EJ or K-Ray, but I would assume from EJ's response that it is not hot, and from K-Ray's that he would say hot. But
Hold on. Did he turn to Saul and go, "You big dummy"?
no,
No, he
he
called him a
dropped the
loser for
worst.
not being able to get a date. That's, of course, what EJ
No,
said.
that's
EJ, but that's EJ's vibe.
Guys,
Tell me
guys,
that's not
That is
EJ's
totally
vibe.
EJ's vibe.
EJ would totally be like, I would never go to the movies by myself because I could always get a date. That's the EJ vibe.
No, EJ actually went completely off the rails. I'm not going to repeat what EJ did, so you can go back and you can watch Hot or Not on your
Well,
own.
if that's not
Okay.
a reason to go find out what happened, you got to go watch
I have
Outside
an
Shot.
idea.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's way worse than you think it is. Okay. Vegas pools. Hot or not?
Not.
Not.
Am I drunk or sober?
Well, you're at a
Whichever
Vegas
one
pool.
you
I think that's the
prefer.
answer
If I'm
itself.
drunk, it's hot because you're not thinking about any of the disgusting factors that go into it. But if I'm sober, I might be not.
Okay. What do you think Saul said?
Hot.
Saul
Hot.
said
He
hot.
was just in one.
Totally.
No. Saul
So
said.
you and you said not.
Saul said
Really?
We
I'm
were there
surprised.
together. We were
Just
there
the
together.
circa
You said
pool.
not?
He said
Me
not.
too. I said not too. So
I'm
all right.
surprised.
What do you think K-Ray said?
Hot.
I'm gonna say not.
Flex?
K-Ray?
Yeah.
Not.
K-Ray said not hot in the
Dang.
pool, but a cabana is hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You little
Yeah.
bougie.
Yeah.
Little bougie life.
K-Ray just wants to take that shirt off and show off the hard work at the cabana.
Now, what do you think EJ said?
Not.
EJ said not. He'd rather be
He's
at a
too
beach
cool.
than
I'm
Vegas.
going to roll with hot.
He doesn't like Vegas, I'm gonna guess.
EJ said hot.
Okay.
Did he really?
EJ said hot pretty emphatically as
Okay.
well.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I get. Okay. Did we define hot and the reason?
Yes. Yes.
Does it go back to whatever he said
you
to
meant
Saul
literally
previously?
hot in Vegas?
No, he's aware. He's aware. All right, 2 left. Unorthodox jump shots that go in. Your Marions, your Halliburtons, your Reggie Millers. What do you think EJ said to unorthodox jump shots that go in?
Okay, EJ never met a shot he didn't like. So I'm gonna say hot.
Hot because I don't give a damn if it go in, it go in. You a
But
bucket
EJ's
getter.
nickname is Smooth Shooter Eddie Johnson. I feel like
That's
he
true.
That had
appreciates
nothing to do with
that.
basketball.
Oh,
But he's also a bucket getter, and I
Okay,
think
so
he could
last time we knew
appreciate the
hot or not on
bucket.
either. of those.
facts. Maybe this is a terrible idea. I'm gonna go cold since these two went hot and it worked for me last time.
EJ was on the fence, but eventually he ended up with the results. He said that it was hot.
Yep.
All right.
It
Well,
was hot.
at least I'm not completely off base. He was on the fence.
What do you think K-Ray said?
Hot.
I'm gonna say not because it's tougher for a broadcaster to judge whether it's gonna go in or not.
That's
Flex.
a fair choice.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, K-Ray said not hot.
Okay.
Now, what did Arizona State free throw champion Saul Bookman say about unorthodox jump shots?
Oh, this one's
that
a
go in?
tough one.
I'm gonna say
was-
he said hot.
emphatic.
He said hot.
This was maybe his strongest.
So he
take
said.
of the
So
day.
he said not. 100%. He said not.
He said. I think he said hot.
I think he said hot.
No, he said
Saul
not.
said not. And
Oh.
called Sean Marion's jump shot cringe,
Oh.
and that he would say it to his face.
Okay.
I mean, here's
Well,
the
that cringe
thing.
jump shot got an NBA title and a
Here's the
spot
thing.
in the
He's
Ring of
not
Honor.
lying. He's not
It was
lying.
effective.
No.
It just wasn't pretty.
He's not lying.
But-
it's an atrocious looking shot.
But the question
But the
wasn't, is
bucket-
it pretty?
No, I'm just saying, like, I see what he's saying. It's atrocious. It's ugly as hell to look
I
at.
mean,
but
so
the other
am I-
side
so
of it
am
is,
I, but I
if
get the
you do-
job done.
Yeah, but if you do it consistently enough, I think the main thing is you can point out the Halliburtons, the Marions. There's a few that had ugly shots that went in. There's a shit ton of them that had ugly shots and
But
didn't
Michael
go in.
but-
Kid Gilchrist,
There we go.
on down. But that's
There
the
we go.
question.
Yeah, the
It's
question
ones that
wasn't
go in.
I can see why he's. Like I said, I respect the bucket getter in them. That's why I
But
said
see,
hot.
to me, if the question was hot or not, ugly jump shots, and there's no that go in, sure,
Yeah,
not.
totally.
I want to see a pretty jump shot.
100%.
Yeah,
But if it goes in, I don't give a shit.
yeah.
All right, this next one, EJ was the most emphatic about. Will go last.
God,
Super short shorts to play
Hot.
basketball in.
not,
Nah.
not.
No, what were you
Nah.
saying for me or for EJ?
No, for just playing basketball in super short shorts.
Nah, cut it out.
I personally am on board with it. Hot.
no,
Nah.
it's a not.
Flex
Nah.
wants the.
Bring
I
it
know.
back.
I mean, my
Hold on,
era was the
bring
baggy
back
shorts.
shorty
My
shorts.
era was the baggy short
no.
black socks.
No, hold on.
Yeah, it was.
No.
What?
You wear shorts that sometimes are a little questionable and suspect on the length, and now you're saying
Wear and play
They're
two different
long
things.
enough. They're just too baggy. You know,
There you go. That's true.
Okay,
They are long
fair,
enough.
fair.
Yeah, they
you
just.
see a little brain.
In no way do I want to see
Fucking
anything due to
God.
short shorts or too baggy when you're sitting. No, short shorts are no. Not even if you have compression shorts under it, because still, no. And I know EJ said yes because the dude wore them in a fashion show and oiled himself up
EJ
to walk down the fucking runway.
EJ totally said hot because he said he looked hot rocking said short.
That is actually
100%.
exactly. That is
Exactly.
100% exactly what
Yeah.
happened.
I'm not lying.
EJ said hot.
I saw him oil himself up for a fashion show that he wore his old uniform in.
Amelia said sexy legs. LOL. I could totally envision EJ being like, hell yeah, they're hot. Me and my sexy legs rock them all night long or whatever EJ
What did-
does.
what
That's
did
such an
Saul
EJ
say?
thing.
What did Saul say?
I'm going to say Saul said not.
Let's say Saul said hot.
I don't know with this guy, bro. But I would think not. We're the same age and we played in the same era, and that was the baggy short era. So I would think not, but who knows?
Saul was on the fence, but because EJ was so strongly in hot,
Wow.
Saul went for the not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you.
I buy it.
That's
Kevin
keeping it
Ray.
real.
How about
Kevin Ray said not.
I'm
I
gonna say
think Kevin Ray said hot. Yeah, K Ray said hot
That
because
was
he probably
cute. You
did
guys were
play
in
some
sync.
short
They were.
shots. He probably did play some short
Kevin
shots.
Ray did say hot.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't care what EJ's legs look like in those shorts. His ass looked like he was wearing a diaper.
Oh my
So,
God.
like, those short shorts were not
Come on,
kind
man.
to
Come on, man.
people.
You're
Not
insane.
kind.
I am in a
full.
full support of the NBA bringing back shorty shorts for
Nope.
these players here.
No.
Let's
No.
see it happen. I support it.
Well, that was hot or not. Make sure you go check out Outside Shots with Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Ray, Eddie Johnson, and Saul Bookman. That is up right now on our YouTube channel.
Why did you not ask Isaiah Thomas these questions?
Isaiah had the shortest damn
he
shorts.
did.
He'd probably be in support of short
No,
shorts,
Isaiah
too.
had the shortest shorts.
We do have a super chat from Saint Shitbag. They said shower beers are only good if it's after work, and it has to be at least 3 of them.
I will say this: a shower beer cannot be your only drink of the night.
Well, and you
It
guys
has to
do
be like a
understand that
preparer.
shower beers are not like you're waking up in the morning having a shower
It's like
with a
getting
beer
ready
and
for a
going to
night
work.
out.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like a shower beer is like a Friday night. You're rinsing off, getting ready to go out
Well,
for
that's
the
your
evening.
definition. There are people that will get up in
Yeah.
the morning
I don't know.
first thing and crack a
Did we-
beer.
Yeah, no, that's not my definition. A shower beer, the understood, like when people refer to shower beers, is within that kind of context. Like we're not talking about.
All right, so
problems.
It's still sad.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually seen some people who do the shower beers, and it was problematic, so I stood away from it.
Yeah, I feel that that's where you cross the Rubicon of I am enjoying drinking and I have to drink,
Right.
and that is
Bro,
that's a
it's
Rubicon.
5:30 in the morning.
No, we're talking about nighttime.
No, no.
I don't care what time of day. If you're turning on the shower and you're going,
Bro,
I
you're
need to
such
bring
a-
a beer in.
No,
No,
I
you're such a hypocrite. You're such a hypocrite. You literally were just talking about how hot it was like 5 minutes ago.
never said
I
that
swear
shit.
you said it was
No,
hot.
I did not
swear.
say-
Lindsay,
He said
I
the
don't
beer would
recall, but I
turn
think
hot.
he did say hot.
I
swear you
I
said
thought
it
he
was
said
hot.
the beer would turn hot.
He
I
wasn't
thought-
on
no.
board with it, but I think he went with hot.
No, what I thought the original premise was is, am I picking a beer or a hard liquor drink to go in the shower? And I said,
okay.
if I'm picking between them, it's the beer.
Okay.
But overall,
I thought you were saying
it's
shower
not
beers
hot.
are hot, and then like 10
No.
minutes later, you're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my
I'm
entire
not.
life.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. No.
I misread you. I'm sorry,
No.
Espo.
Anyway,
Best podcast in the valley, according to the people.
let's go.
You
Thank
people
you all.
voted wrong.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's Friday. You know how it is. If you're new here on Fridays, especially towards the end of the show, things typically get a little bit fun, a little bit out of the box and weird. Different, if you will, but always a good time. Thank you all for hanging out. We hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you're here on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you are listening wherever you get your podcast, rate, review, and subscribe as well. Only 5 stars, though. If not, just skip it. You know what I mean? You can also follow the show on social at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Flex at Flex from Jersey. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
If you turn on the shower tonight and you say, let me go grab the 6-pack, I recommend you go to BetterHelp, HELP.com/PHNX. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.